Testing. Test. Oh, wait, what? You've been live the whole time? Even when I was screaming. You were live. You were when I was doing that, so you're still live right now. So I probably shouldn't go. Okay, Roger. Roger. Welcome, one and all, to the Monday stream. What's up, everybody? Look, here's the deal. Oh, there better not be some gambling. We didn't even gamble on Friday, so it shouldn't be on. So here's the deal, everybody. What's up, and welcome to the stream. Welcome to the show. I am a little bit rusty. I took the weekend, went out of town, just had some good fun. Missed you guys. No stream on Friday. And so I don't even know how to stream anymore. I totally forgot. And so I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to do with these buttons. There's a lot of buttons. So we're going to learn on the fly. We're going to get back into the groove together. I still look exhausted. That's kind of funny because I actually feel pretty good. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not as young as I once was. So over the weekend, a lot of late nights, a lot of drinking, a couple blinkers here and there, and holy crap, yes, it was a terror on my body. But I actually feel pretty good today. Got a lot of rest last night. I'm feeling pretty good. I hope you guys had a good weekend as well. I'm excited for today. So let's first of all, we're going to talk about Guardians. I want to talk about the movie itself because we didn't really get to talk about that on Friday. I talked to several of you guys about it on Thursday when we did the Visions watch party, which I haven't seen all of yet, but I like Visions. I had a good time with Visions. But we're going to talk about that. We'll talk about like how you guys feel about the movie itself, sort of give you my thoughts. And then I want to talk about the opening box office, how fans are responding, what's the deal with Marvel, etc., etc. So that's kind of like the main topics today. But there's a lot of little stories, little like rumors, hints of things coming that I also want to touch on for Marvel and Star Wars. Some really, really cool. Others, maybe cool. We'll get into it. But unfortunately, it's going to be another weird week. So I also kind of want to do like show notes for you guys. There will be no streams on Friday again. So I'm going out of town again. This time I'm going to the West Coast for a wedding. So another sort of weird short week. But what I'm gonna do is this Wednesday we're gonna have a longer stream. Okay, so we'll do a really long stream. We'll do call-ins. We'll do a section of gambling. We'll have like a really long stream on Wednesday just to kind of hang out and sort of make up for no stream on Friday. And then next week we should be back to normal, I think. So we should be back to normal for a good stretch of the summer, just, our regular streaming schedule. Of course, we are aiming up for Secret Invasion, which should be really, really cool. And we'll do a lot of coverage, streams and videos and coverage about that sort of stuff as well. And there's a lot of other cool stuff happening over the summer that I can't currently think of because I forgot things. But we'll talk about that as well. So, first of all, first thing I want to know, what did you guys think? What did you guys think about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? Actually, you know what? Let's start here. How many of you saw Guardians 3 in the opening weekend? Throw a 1 into the chat. I'm super curious, okay? Because it did really, really well. It did huge numbers overseas, and it did, like, decent numbers domestic. Hang on. Okay, so a lot of you went out and saw it. Cool. Let's do that thing we usually do. I want to do a new poll just to see what you guys thought. Oh, yeah, we got to talk about two Phils. Oh, man. Two freaking Phils, man. Shout out to Jareth Loveberry, member of the channel, a longtime viewer of the content, and he was racing this weekend at the Kentucky Derby. He raced and came in second place. That shit was crazy. I'll tell you guys about that. I'm sure you guys had a lot of fun watching it too. Really, really interesting. But let's start with this. How did you feel about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? So we'll go loved it, liked it, meh, and hated it. Boom. Let's see. So I'll tell you like a cool little story over the weekend of how we got to watch the race and everything, right? So I told my buddies about it, of course. We're all hanging out, and I said, look, when this race is going on, I have to watch it. We got to figure that out. At some point, we got to watch it, right? So I put a little money on the horse, and we were chilling. We were going around trying to look for some more Warhammer to like build up and paint, right? Because mission accomplished. The guys loved Warhammer and got totally hooked, and we had a fucking amazing time. But we were looking for stores, and we find that there's an actual Warhammer store. Didn't even know this was a thing. So we found out that there was a Warhammer store, and we had to sort of drive out of the city to get there. And so we get there, and we finish up right around time at the race out there. So we found like a little sports bar. We went there. We were having like drinks and wings and sat there and watched the Kentucky Derby. You know, every time Jareth got on screen and every time they like talked about him, like we were all hyped up and cheering for him. It was really cool. And then, of course, the race happened. Incredible race. I know nothing about horse racing, like literally nothing. But from my perspective, it looked like they were winning. Like after about the middle of the race, they had sort of pulled out ahead and were doing really great. And then that, what was it, the mage or wizard or whatever, that horse just caught this crazy stride and almost kind of like ran into two Phils a little bit, causing two Phils to alter their stride and not, make it through. But I guess that's the game or whatever. But also incredible, shout out to Jareth. I'm sure that was an incredible experience, dude. Like all eyes were on you, like awesome. And it was a good race, I don't know shit about it, but it seemed like it was a good race, Are there any horse people there? Was it as good of a race as it seemed? Tell us how we should feel about it. Okay, let's look at this poll. Damn, that is very good stats out the gate. So we got 64% of people coming in saying they loved it. Another 27 behind that said they liked it, and then less than 10% on the other side. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. That's very, very positive. Now, I was sort of checked out on social media over the weekend, right? Because I was just chilling. But from what I saw, this sort of lines up with a lot of what I saw on social. People, especially the fans, seem to be very, very high on this film, right? They really, really like it. So I'll tell you how I feel about it. Then we'll talk about the box office. We'll talk about like the legs. We'll see where it's at, because it is an interesting tale, right? Like opening at 114 domestic, not the best. A 285 global looks really good though. It is interesting though. We'll talk about like, comparing it to other movies. What do we think is going on with Marvel, etc., etc. So as far as the film itself, I'd probably have to count myself in that 28% that liked it but didn't love it. And I'll talk about the things I liked about the movie first. Then I'll talk about the stuff that I kind of didn't like. But I will say this too. It's a movie that, much like even the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, it's a film that I like more as I think about it. Like the more I think about it, I'm like, okay, yeah, no, that's really clever. The way they did that. Oh, that's really cool. That particular scene was really awesome. And so initially when I sort of like did my review and talked about it, I was like, I don't really like have an urge to see the film again. And I doubt I'm going to see it in theaters. I'm a little bit more open to seeing it now. Like I'm a little bit like, okay, well, I kind of do want to see it again. See if it just hits me a little bit better. I still don't know for sure if I'll see it in theaters just because, like I said, we're going out of town. Like shit's kind of crazy right now. But maybe if I didn't have anything going on this weekend, I'd probably go again with like our couple friends. We do another couple date and go see it again. So the stuff that I really liked, I think overall, the quality of the movie is very, very high. Like, it feels like the quality of a film that we should expect as Marvel fans. Which, like, really, unfortunately, I really have to juxtapose this movie against Quantumania, which I think is totally fair, because Quantumania was the first Phase 5 movie, dude. It was the movie that kicked off the whole year. It's the movie that killed Victoria Alonso's career. It's a bad fucking movie. Okay? And to me, Guardians, like, just, I don't think you can deny that it is just a way better overall quality of a film than Quantumania. The effects are spectacular. Like, the visual effects are really, really good. I don't know the company. There's a specific visual effects house that James Gunn has done a lot of work with, right, over the years. And that, whatever that, I think they're called like Radio Studio or something like that, right? Really good, dude. Like, visually, this movie is clean, stunning. There's no like weird, unfinished shit. You know what I mean? It's really, really good from that perspective. So that's one thing I really like. I also really like the writing in the movie, mostly the character stuff. Okay? The arcs that the characters not only are going on in this film, but it's an extension of like the second movie, Infinity War and Endgame, and the holiday special. It's like this big through line for all the characters. The writing for the characters is pretty on point. Like, the ending for Peter makes a lot of sense. There's a whole like cathartic journey that he goes on to come to the conclusion that he has at the end of the film, and it makes sense. It, like, feels good for that character, right? Nebula has an incredible arc. Her arc from, let's say, maybe Guardians 2 to where it is now, like, especially a lot of the stuff that happens in Infinity War and Endgame, fantastic, dude. Like, really, really good stuff. I quite enjoyed it. Drax, really interesting here, man. Somehow, some way, Gunn is able to take the criticisms that many, including Dave Bautista, have had of Drax and somehow make it a redeeming quality and a part of what that character is going to do moving forward. Because it's not just that he's a big dumb idiot, it's that he's a dad, and that it's more about him being that for like children. It kind of like makes sense that he would be a dad. I genuinely thought it was great. I really liked it. Thought it was enjoyable. Even Gamora, which this one's really weird because it's kind of like the Gamora we know, but not really the Gamora we know. But even like the sort of arc that she goes on, and then I thought it was so interesting how genuine it felt when she and the Ravengers came back together at the end of the movie, because like, it is true that she's always looking for a family. She had found one with the Guardians before, and now it seems that she has found one with the Ravengers. That's like really good stuff, right? So overall, there's a lot of stuff that I really like about the movie. Now, there are things that I don't like about the movie. Number one, man, it is just so crammed. Like, I remember especially early on being like, damn, that scene did not get enough time to breathe. Damn, that scene did not get enough time to breathe. Damn, we are moving quick here. There is a lot going on. Boom, boom, boom. And I genuinely feel like some of this stuff maybe should have been stripped out, and you give more of it to breathe, right? So I said in my review, Guardians 1, I think, is the best of all of these movies. And part of the reason is because it is so focused on Peter Quill. And that gives the entire film a driving force of like narrative and perspective for the story. So everything else just kind of like fits into that. It's very fucking brilliant, right? And the second Guardians movie, definitely not my cup of tea. I didn't like it. I think 3 is better. You know, better than 2, not as good as 1. And so, yeah, I think that lack of narrative, like, focus kind of just gives the movie a natural bloat, because you're trying to show what's going on with this character. You're trying to show what's going on with this character. You're trying to show me the relationship between Adam and his mother and the Sovereign and the High Evolution. There's so much going on, and yet the movie's kind of like moving at a quick clip. So there's a lot of stuff that I was like, oh man, like I really wish that would have had time to breathe. I wish that would have had time to breathe. And then the other stuff that I don't like in the movie that, many of you are probably going to give me shit for is the James Gunn stuff. Like, just not a fan of that. It's just a little much for me, right? Like, so the base, that huge base being made of flesh, essentially, and having all this weird sound effects and weird visual effects, and then the goofy-ass fucking skin suit that Nathan Fillion is. I'm like, dude, no, it's just not for me. Just too much. Like, just a little too much. Some of the humor, just a little too much, sort of falls flat. It's, is Manus going to yell at somebody again? Is Nebula going to fucking dog on somebody again? You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff, honestly, I'm not, it's not my favorite. You know what I mean? I'm not into it in the way that many of you guys are into it. I don't like it. I'm actually excited to see what a different director could do with this new team of Guardians, because there's a lot of great stuff with the team. There's a lot of great stuff for that franchise. And I wouldn't mind a more serious Guardians. You know what I mean? A less James Gunny Guardians. I would be up for that. And I think, depending on how this movie goes, you're going to get that. You're going to get that in some way, shape, or form. Like, I wonder, given what's going on with, like, sequels and general, maybe comic book fatigue, right? I wonder, will we see the Guardians again as a group in a movie? Will we see them involved in another cosmic story? Will they be a part of the next Avengers movies? Like one would think, right? As essentially, they're a big part of Infinity War and Endgame. They're also a massive franchise within the MCU. You would assume that team will come back in some way, shape, or form, right? So I'm really interested to see how that all goes, because to me, I really did like a lot of the Guardian stuff that the Russos did, Yeah, maybe the Star-Lord punching Thanos thing is a little like, what? But literally, other than that, I found it endearing and really great. A lot of the stuff they did with the Guardians, the Russos. So maybe this new team can get some real shine in the story that's coming, right? With Kang Dynasty and all that. The characters are all put in a really interesting place, Spoilers, but Peter's back on Earth. Gamora's with the Ravengers. Drax and Nebula are just raising the weird orphan zoo thing. So they're kind of like off the table in their own little zone. Mantis is just going and doing her thing. So a lot of the OGs, I think when it comes to Marvel, it's really like take them or leave them. Like we can either involve them or we can keep them narratively where we left them. So it's interesting. You know what I mean? And now that takes us to the box office. Right? That takes us to the box office, because I think it's a weird... Well, let me ask you guys this, because I had sort of said this going into it. I said my prediction on the way out, or before it, was that this will be a much better movie than Love and Thunder, but it will not make the money that Love and Thunder made. And so far, that is bearing it out to be the case, right? So let's look at the box office. Let's look at the report in the Hollywood Reporter, and then let's talk about what we think it means. Let's speculate. Let's nerdvenge. Now, one of the most important things here. It is going to be very interesting. It is going to be very interesting to see how the media covers this box office. Marvel's in this place where I could frankly see it going either way. You could see a lot of headlines talking about comic book fatigue, Marvel fatigue, missing, the expected domestic gross. Or you could see a lot of articles being supportive. You could see a lot of articles talking about how Marvel shows signs of resilience, etc., etc. I'm really curious as to how that will end up, because believe it or not, and I think most of you guys believe this, that's going to be a very important factor in how not only other people weeks away from now decide whether or not to go see this movie, but how people are going to be feeling about Marvel sort of on the whole, right? This headline, box office Guardians of the Galaxy 3 opens to 114 in the US, promising 282 million globally, I think is a pretty fair, semi-supportive headline. You know what I mean? It could have been something else, and we've seen a lot of headlines recently about Star Wars and about Marvel that are not as nice, right? There's an element here. There's like a lot that goes into this, right? Part of it is, how does the media feel about the studio? What's the relationship with the studio and the outlet? James Gunn, of course, has picked a few fights with the media, even at the level of the Hollywood trades. So a lot of people, I think, are sort of saying like, man, I'm curious. How are they going to report on this, right? So let's get in. Let's get into the numbers. James Gunn's final film for Marvel fared especially well overseas, including a #1 finish in China. Bob Iger, by the way, has to be feeling pretty fucking good about that. He got MCU movies back in China. That's like one of the big things that he was brought back to do, and he went over and they figured it out. Your mileage may vary on how you feel about that. Elsewhere, Blockbusters, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, finally falls to #2 in its 5th weekend. James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 topped the weekend box office with a domestic opening of 114 million, well behind the last film in the standalone Marvel Studios franchise. Yeah, I think the Volume 2 did like 140, 145, 150 or something like that, right? Well behind the last film in the standalone Marvel Studios franchise, but promising enough to fan hope that the movie is already benefiting from strong audience sentiment. The news was even better overseas, where the superhero pick started off with a better than expected 168 million from 52 markets for a global start of 282. 1.1 million, placed it #1 everywhere. China led with 28.1, followed by the UK, South Korea, Mexico, France, etc. In China, Guardians 3 came in with a surprise #1 with 28 million, despite competition from homegrown fare. While there's less than 49 million debut of the last installment, well, that's less than the 49. Oh shit! In China, Volume 2 opened at 49. Damn. It's a strong number considering that most Hollywood movies have been doing normal business in China, and the movie is huge in South Korea. It's already earned more than the Super Mario's Bro, while doing well across the rest of Asia, Europe, and Latin America. Interesting. Any domestic opening over 100 million in the post-pandemic era is nothing to be dismissed. I think that's fair. Still, Guardians' initial performance in North America is mixed news for Marvel and Gunn, who now runs rival DC Studios, and is sparking further concern that superhero fatigue has settled in at the box office as the 2023 summer season kicks off. Only a year ago, for example, Marvel threequel Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness soared to a series best 187 million in its domestic launch. I mean, here's the thing. Arguably, Multiverse of Madness had way more of an effect from the pandemic than Guardians did. There's really not a lot of people not going to the movies in the summer this year worried about that. That's just facts. So it's like kind of wild when you think about it. The Doctor Strange movie opened almost 100 million more. That's kind of wild. What does it mean? Guardians 3 certainly doesn't lack for audience love. It earned an A cinema score and a strong exit score on post-track, and it's already paying off. On Saturday morning, Marvel and Disney thought the movie might clear no more than 110. I saw those headlines. I don't know, maybe you guys saw those headlines, but that's true. A lot of people thought, oh shit, it's going to be 110, but it picked up. Traffic was better than expected throughout Sunday and saw a bump over Friday. The trend continued. If that trend continues, the threequel could enjoy a lot of love in the long run. Reviewers feel differently than do consumers, with the movie supporting the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score of the three films. See, like this is kind of an interesting thing, right? It is technically the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score of the three movies, right? But I don't know about you guys, like maybe that's just me. It also kind of feels that like getting back up into the 80s, because there was a moment where it was like dipped into the 70s, getting back up into the 80s and like holding into the 80s, kind of low-key feels like fucking incredible compared to a lot of stuff we've gotten recently. Although I guess Wakanda Forever did have like an 88 or something like that. Like, it was pretty high, right? Maybe it's just coming off Quantumania. I don't know how. Like, maybe that's just what it is. Like, coming out of Quantumania, I see that 81 and I think it's a million. Like, that's massive, right? So I wonder how much, because of recency bias, I wonder if the fact that it is the lowest of the three, I wonder if that's even affecting like normies at all. They just see the Rotten Tomato thing, they think back to Quantumania, and they're like, no, this feels good, this is a good movie, and therefore are sort of validated in going to see it. I'm not really sure. Okay, so it says here, in 2017, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 opened to 146.2 million, while the first Guardians opened at 94 domestic in 2014, not adjusted for inflation. It's unusual for a title in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to open behind the previous installment in a retrospective series, but not unheard of. Sequels that didn't open as high include Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which was released, I mean, again, they're saying it was raging. I don't really feel that way, but I guess it was a concern. And Age of Ultron. Guardians 3 opened on par with recent Marvel pick Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Now, this is where it gets a little concerning. But I gotta be honest with you. I am kind of optimistic on the legs for the movie, but we'll talk about that in just a second, okay? If this thing does what Quantumania did and tops out with less than 500 million, that's really fucking bad. Okay? So, again, maybe it won't. But if this movie does not make 500 million worldwide, wee wah. Like, we're gonna have to have some conversations. Okay, so anyway, a lot of goobly glob here. Let's kind of talk about it. Let's break it down a little bit more, okay? So, I know it already doubled Shazam's box office. I know, but Shazam, it's already dead. This is like this meme. This is like that meme, right? He's already dead. We don't need to piss on Shazam's grave, okay? So, let's start with a couple of questions. Let's go to the polls. Do you think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 will have a great second weekend? Great. Because I don't think there's ever been a more important second weekend in the entire time comic book movies have been made. I'm going to repeat that for those of you that are paying attention to some other shit, have a bunch of things open, you're tabbed out, and you're barely paying attention. Lean in, motherfuckers. Listen to what I'm saying. I don't think there has ever been a more important second weekend for the genre of comic book movies. No cap. No cap. And why do I say that? Why do I think that? A couple of different reasons. This is a good movie. Okay? If a good Marvel movie has a massive drop-off in the second weekend and starts to look like it's going to perform like Quantumania and ends less than 500 million. Guys, unless I'm mistaken, I think there are 5, 6, maybe 7 more comic book movies coming out this fucking year. This year. If the fatigue is not quite there yet, this could be the start of it. Do you feel me? So if this movie has a really bad second weekend, despite all the hype from the fans, despite like pretty good fucking reviews, that's going to be a very concerning reality for Marvel to take a very hard look at. The reason this becomes even more important is because James Gunn is, of course, leaving Marvel to go be the president of DC, who has 2 more comic book movies coming out this year. No, scratch that. 3 more comic book movies this year. You got Aquaman and the throne of everybody's gonna fucking hate it. You've got the most crazy gamble on an absolute whack person, Flash. And then you've got probably absolutely incredible movie that might get its fucking shit kicked in because of circumstances that have nothing to do with that movie in Blue Beetle. And that's not even the start of his shit. He's going to go write Superman and make the Authority and make all this other stuff. So there's a lot that hangs in the balance when it comes to this movie. It's perception, the perception for the normies, for the studio. It's bananas. Okay? Now, here's my take. Well, he has nothing to do with the Marvels. I'm talking about stuff that's connected to this movie. Of course, there's a lot of Marvel stuff that will not benefit from this movie not performing well. But I'm talking like there's a reality here that this movie's performance will hang over DC and what James goes to do with DC. Okay? Now, here's the good news. The difference between this movie and Quantumania appears to be people really like this movie. Guys, I fucking hated Quantumania. I despise that movie. It was bad. This is a good movie that just happens to do some things I'm not that down with because I don't totally gel with the style of the director. It is a fantastic film. So the legs for this movie should be much stronger than what they were for Quantumania. Should be much stronger, okay? So you've got open weekends. Dude, there's no competition until I think Little Mermaid, which I think is at the end of this month. It's like, there's like nothing. So it has free reign to just make money for the rest of this month and into next month. Honestly, it should still be making money into next month. I bet there are still some markets that it has to open up with, you know? Which, by the way, another like really good thing that Bob Iger maybe had something to do with behind the scenes is like lining up all of the releases to happen at the same time. Because that number, like that 281, is that what it is? Like that 282, you can't fucking deny that. That's an incredible number, right? So he was able to like get the headlines, right? Because that, remember, we were talking about this. We were talking about this last week. We were talking about this the week before. If this movie underperformed, you were going to see blood in the water as far as headlines. It was just going to be like really, really bad. And don't get me wrong, there are still some people out there that are going to Fast X. What's that? A couple weeks though. So you got Fast X, I guess, in a couple of weeks. That's legitimate competition. That'll probably crush. So, but regardless, you've got a pretty wide opening. You know what I mean, for it to make some super big cash. But here's the flip side of that. Okay, to kind of take it back to the potential bad news, right? Given everything I just explained, the fact that the movie's performing better with audiences, performing better with critics, it has more room, etc. If it doesn't perform well, if it doesn't do better than Quantumania, there's literally no excuses other than some really bad realities, right? Like, consider the fact that if it still does what Quantumania did, we can't excuse it through any of those means. It's going to be like, what? What is happening? So that's why I say this is a very important movie for the genre. This is a very important second weekend for the entire genre. What do you think is going to happen? It seems like 78% of you guys. Let me poll. It seems like 78% of you think it will have a great second weekend. Interesting. Lennox says the excuse is Quantum Mania, Doctor Strange 2, Thor 4 ruined, burned the audiences. I would add the Disney Plus shows to that as well. But yes, that would potentially excuse it. But what that means is that the Marvel brand has literally shed audience. Like, that's true. Like, I get you, and that's not the film's fault. But that's horrible news for Marvel. That would be very bad. What that would mean, and this is a possibility, we've talked about this as a possibility too, it is possible that Marvel's in a place where they literally have to win back a lot of their audience. I mean, how do you guys feel? Do you feel like Marvel needs to win back their audience? We've talked about it before. I know where a lot of you stand, but is that not maybe the really harsh reality that we're facing? The twerk around the world. Oh, shit. Yeah, we knew where we were at, and there's a way forward. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of interesting rumblings going on. I'm working on a video today, probably release it tomorrow, where I'm going to try to pull together the best look I have at what is the plan now for Secret Wars, because they're changing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. Kevin Feige was asked at the world premiere for Guardians 3, what can we expect from Marvel moving forward? This motherfucker literally just said, he looked like deadass in the camera and was like, change. Like, come on, man. Like, we know they're cooking, right? So I'm working on a big video. I'm going to try to, pull that all together, give us a good look at what's to come, because I think they have a way out. I think they have a solution. It also looks like, dude, deadass, he did that. Dude, I'm going to put it into the video later. He did that shit. It's wild, right? But that's where we're at. Like, that's where we're at. We have jumped from speculating on whether or not Marvel is in trouble and needs to change things to literally being like, all right, let's see how they change it. What you got? You know what I mean? Like, that is where we are at. So we'll talk about that. Big video coming out, like I said, probably tomorrow, about all of that. Now, there are some interesting little tidbits going on with Marvel Studios. Now, I want to talk about something in reference to the writers' strike, okay? Because there's you guys heard about this writer strike? Do you know about this writer strike? Have you heard? Do you know about this? Do you know about this? Have you heard about this? You know about this? Titty bits? Yeah, man. We got some titty bits for you. So, there is a really weird thing happening right now where a lot of studios, including Disney, are trying to claim that they have the scripts, they're good to go, so they're just going to make the content. Okay? Now, here's the deal. The Duffer Brothers recently came out and said they are not going to work on the next season of Stranger Things until the writer's strike is resolved. Okay? Now, why? Because, as they said in their social media post, you need writers to do constant rewrites and to rework things on the set of a movie. In fact, James Gunn recently did an interview talking about his writing process and talking about how he makes all kinds of changes during the filming. Okay? So, what you're seeing right now in the press is really interesting, because you've got people like The Wrap reporting that James Gunn turned in the first draft of Superman. What's the Superman movie called? They're saying stuff like, James Gunn turned in his first draft of the Superman movie before the writer's strike ended, so don't worry, they can make the movie, no problem. Okay? Similar with Marvel. Marvel's just moving ahead on shit. Not Blade, because Blade is still in the writing phase, but Marvel's just full steam ahead on a lot of different things. In fact, Disney put out a letter, I believe over the weekend, asking all productions to just continue. Okay? So what you're seeing right now is some people are trying to get Superman Legacy. Okay, some people are trying to get the normies and just fans on Twitter to think that if a project goes into production, but like already finished its script, that they're not going to cross the picket line. They're not doing anything like that. That is false. Any project that continues to move forward, that needs revisions, that needs writing, is crossing the picket line if it continues into production during this strike. Truly, I don't particularly care that much. Like, I've made my sort of stance on it. Like, I'm all for the writers being compensated better because I do think they're a big bedrock piece of the content machine that moves forward. I'm just not so sure. I think in a changing industry, you can commit to all these changes if you're the studio. Like, I think they need to find a middle ground, and I think the writers should be compensated. But make no mistake, we're about to enter a really weird period where if they don't figure that shit out, we're going to be getting a lot of projects that are essentially saying, yo, all that workers' rights shit, like, keep that out of my fucking face because we got Star Wars and superhero movies to make. You know what I mean? So I just want to make that known because, like, a lot of the shit that we talk about here, like, I just got to keep it a stack with you guys. I've got to keep it 100 and tell you what's really going on, okay? Because Disney's basically trying to, like, have their cake and eat it too. They want to make you think they support the writers while also literally moving on stuff that requires writing during a strike. J.J. Abrams did this shit before too. He doesn't give a shit. I mean, we don't know for sure with James Gunn. If he goes into production on Superman, he's crossing the picket line, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Again, I don't even particularly care that much, but it's going to be really interesting to see, are these creatives like the Duffer Brothers? Like, can you imagine the Duffer Brothers, bro? Like, imagine you're Netflix and you're one of the big companies that's holding this whole situation up, from what we've heard, right? And your hit show, like literally your bread and butter show, the Duffer Brothers are like, nah, fam, like, we're not going to do that until you figure this shit out. That's like how the strike is supposed to function. So we'll see. You know what I mean? Like, we'll see how we go from here. It's not just Disney, but I think a lot of people had held hope that Disney would be the company to, like, truly stand with the workers and, like, really try to make that shift. And that is not happening. Like, I just want to be crystal clear. They are not doing that. At least now. Maybe they will, but for now, that does not look to be what's going on. Okay? I saw somebody in chat say Crypto. That is pretty cool. You know, Gunn confirmed that Crypto is going to be in the Superman movie. I am down with that. I like Crypto as a character. So we'll just see how all of that goes, right? Okay. So, just kind of going in from some of the stuff that happened last week, and I can pull this up. We can just go through this Reddit and see what cool stuff is out there to talk about, right? Here we go. Check this out. Check it out. So again, Reed Richards definitely looks like we've got Adam Driver. And by the way, I've seen a lot of people saying it's going to be Adam Driver and Margot Robbie. 100% it's Margot Robbie and Adam Driver. Not like confirmed, but I would expect that to probably drop via the trades very, very soon, right? So I think that's great. I think that's fantastic, and it really does seem like there's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming in that. Man, they are putting a lot into this Fantastic Four movie. I think they want this to be an incredibly big franchise. So we'll see. I know some people don't like it. I'm with it. I think it's a W. I like both of them. Yeah. So we'll just see. Now, wait, what the fuck? Okay, so check this out. This is something that I've seen Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus talking a lot about. He's implying heavily that the Avengers Tower that Tony sold was very likely sold to like Kang or Kang Industries or something like that, because people were speculating, is it the Baxter Building? He's like, no, definitely not the Baxter Building. Some people thought it was going to be the tower the Kingpin operated from. He was like, no, not Kingpin. And so he seems to really be implying that it's probably going to be a variant of Kang. This one's kind of fucking depressing. Pour one out for Dr. Doom, but it's not exactly old news either. By the way, check out this. It's my favorite Doctor Doom shirt. I really like this shirt. So no Doctor Doom in the next 2 phases. Okay. Okay, so again, personally, I dig it. He's talking again about this and pretty much confirming that this is going to be the way that it goes. Margot looks great here. She actually really looks like Sue in this picture. It's pretty cool. So I'm down with that. Did y'all see John Bernthal training to return as Punisher? Let's give this a watch.
You want it? Slick. Oh, it's kind of light, Jack. What do you think of this?
It feels great. Try to do this as fast as you humanly possibly can, okay? Don't worry about safety.
Don't worry about safety. Yo, can you imagine? Oh, what the fuck? Can you imagine how dope it would be if you're the guys at the range or you're at this course and fucking John Bernthal pulls up and he's like, I need to practice to be Punisher. You know what I mean? My God, bro. That shit's so cool.
Try to do this as...
I will say, too,
I didn't know you got to get him in the head and get him down.
you know, and maybe he's got some more time to practice or whatever, but it looks like John Wick greater than, right? Because fucking, have you seen Keanu Reeves do this shit? Bro, Keanu is like, he took the John Wick character pretty seriously, dude. Like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, it low-key thinks like John Wick might take this fight between them. That guy does kind of look like Thomas Jane, too. Wouldn't that be wild? Yeah, dude, if you've never seen Keanu do that shit, whoa. Whoa. Pretty good. Okay, so let's keep going through this stuff. He considered making a nihilist the creator of Rocket. That would have been really cool, but I like the high evolutionary thing. What the hell? Okay, so he's talking about Oscorp here. And he's saying that Oscorp doesn't exist in the current MCU yet. That's interesting. So I guess that's why he's like, he couldn't find Oscorp in the MCU at all, right? And he was like, my son, my business, my home, you know, all that kind of shit. Okay, this one's pretty cool, man. This one's pretty cool. Let's check this out. So this is in response to him talking about Doctor Strange 3 and Clea. Wait, what? Where's the actual response? So he says, hearing lots of cool things. Hopefully it all works out and we get his Dormammu first scary MCU movie as he was promised and was promised to us all those years ago. Obviously, Dormammu being related to Clea and them going to the Dark Dimension, that absolutely seems like that's going to be the way that it is. Heard rumors that maybe Scott Derrickson might come back. It's kind of cool. So we're starting to hear like some rumblings of like what's on the idea board for Doctor Strange 3, which I think is crazy. Talking about that, I'm not really going to go into that. Oh, so this dude might play a version of Deacon Frost in the Blade movie. That's what they're saying here. I don't know if this will come to pass or not, but I love this actor. And of course, Deacon Frost in the first Blade movie, epic. Really, really cool character. So that's pretty fun. Blade is going to be rated R, apparently, according to some people. Here's some of the people that are showing up in the film. I don't really know in what role, right? Don't really know in what role, but it is pretty cool. Yeah, and I think that's all the little stuff as far as Marvel. You know, James was talking a lot on Twitter over the weekend, you know, like answering fan questions, trying to get people to like go check out Guardians. And I do think that's cool, man. You know what I mean? Like, I think he did go to bat for the movie. I think he genuinely, you know, tried to make a really great ending for those characters. And so kudos to him. Kudos to him. And I think that might be all the little stuff, guys. Is there any like stuff that you guys want to go over? I'm looking at the Star Wars stuff right now. I don't think there's too much. Oh, there is a little something something. Oh shit, there is a little something something. This is pretty interesting here. Giancarlo Esposito shared some photos on his Instagram. And what is this? Obviously, an additional part of the last episode that was cut. Seems like maybe a scene where he comes and finds that his clones are already destroyed or some shit like that. So things would have been a little different. Which we did report on as well. They did change the ending for Mando 3. All right. All right. Is there anything else going on? Midnight Suns, Disney Plus T. I haven't heard anything on that. Again, I was pretty checked out. What's the point of posting that? What do you mean from Giancarlo's perspective? Wasn't there ones of him fighting? I don't know. I mean, he did fight a lot in the last episode. Nerd Theory tonight? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Secret Invasion? What about Secret Invasion? There's some leaks and stuff, but AI waifu Star Wars list? That's kind of hilarious. Maybe I'll have to check that out. I mean, besides all that, it's my birthday today. Nice, dude. Happy birthday, brother. Hour-long episodes? Where's that, like, reported? I mean, I know they're going to be longer, but I don't know if I know for sure they're going to be an hour. But yeah, they seem pretty good. I mean, I'm excited for that show, man. I think that's going to be cool. Yeah, Screen Geek got that right a long time ago. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to go into all the super chats in just a second. I just want to see if there's anything else we got going on there. I think Giancarlo posted that maybe just because it was fun, but maybe also because he also is aware a little bit of the fan conversations out there. And maybe he was trying to show that, like, it's not his fault in some ways, you know? Because, like, dude, Moff Gideon is a fucking idiot in that last episode. It's kind of unfortunate, right? You know? What will get more views this year on Disney Plus, Echo or Skeleton Crew? It's really hard to say. I mean, both of those shows might not release on Disney Plus this year. I know when it comes to Echo, apparently they've done a lot of work to make it a much better and much higher quality show. So it's possible that that kind of has a great word of mouth. But I would argue a Star Wars Filoni-verse show done by John Watts, that's going to get a lot of buzz as well. So we'll just see, man. It's too early to tell. Too early to tell on both of them. You know? Yeah, we really don't know much about either of them. I will say this. This is kind of my thoughts. Like, as I was kind of thinking of, like, well, what's going on for the summer? Like, what's going on for the year and stuff? Because we're kind of going to enter a little bit of a slower, you know, news period. And, you know, Guardians was really cool, but I don't think Guardians generates a lot of, like, buzz. There's not, like, a lot of stuff to speculate about. It has nothing to do with Secret Wars, the multiverse. So I'm, like, you know, just kind of thinking about what we're going to do for coverage, right? I think we're going to start getting a lot of rumors, and then Comic-Con this year, I think Comic-Con this year for Marvel Studios is going to be even bigger than it was last year, okay? Part of me feels like what was going on last year at Comic-Con was Feige was understanding the narrative that Phase 4 was a bit directionless, and therefore a lot of people were kind of checking out, okay? And so he threw up Avengers Kang Dynasty, and he threw up Avengers Secret Wars on the big screen, and he said both of them are coming out in 2025. Now I think neither of them are coming out in 2025. Although I guess no, I think Kang Dynasty still is supposed to come out in 2025. But regardless, my point is this. Last year he might have thought, okay, I have to slightly alter my plan a little bit, and I have to get them to realize that there is a plan. But I think in some ways he felt like he could still get away with some more filler, and then people would just line up for the dope shit once we started rolling into Kang Dynasty. I no longer think he thinks that. And I think now he thinks he's got to fucking rock our worlds at Comic-Con. And he does. And I think he will. So I think we're in for a wild Comic-Con. And then after that happens, we're going to have so many videos to make, so much to speculate on, so much to kind of get excited about. As far as Kang and Jonathan Majors, just because I see some people talking about it in chat, I think the trial starts today. From what I understand and just some of the rumblings I've heard, it seems like Loki Season 2 will release with Jonathan Majors no matter what. Okay? So that's probably good news, honestly, for us, right, as fans. I mean, it's a little weird depending on how this trial goes, right? But it's probably a good move. Maybe they will just put some kind of disclaimer on it if it gets really bad or something, right? But it seems like they have a plan to replace him if they need to. But they're really hoping that they don't have to replace him. So that is kind of where we're at right now with all of that, right? So, again, a lot is in limbo, but they seem to have plans. They seem to have contingency plans, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll just see, right? We should know more about all of that this week, right? But I didn't think Marvel recasted. Oh, no, they just literally recast Red Hulk. You know? It's a little weird with how they handle all that stuff. But no, they have obviously brought in... They've done recasting. They just didn't want to do that with... and Hulk and War Machine and... You know. Others. So... That was a T'Challa reference, dude. Come on. I know, Patrick. You think I don't know? You think Serpico don't see? I see. Okay. Let's get into some super chats and member chats and see what y'all be saying. And then we'll just hang in the chat a little bit too, okay? Okay. Maha, very interesting name, says, you think Bautista and Zoe would have stayed if Gunn didn't leave? No, I don't think so, man. It really seems like Zoe and Dave are kind of done with the MCU, and that's totally reasonable and fair. You know what I mean? And I think particularly with Zoe, you think about Zoe, man, she's been in like all the biggest fucking movies ever. Like, she's in a lot of like massive movies. Of course, like the Avatar stuff, she's going to go do a bunch more Avatar stuff probably. So she's probably locked in on that, and then she might be like good. And frankly, I don't know what her royalties like points situation is, but if she has even like a little bit of that percentage, like even like a half point or something on Avatar, she's good. She's good. You know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy, huh? Oh, and Dave, as far as Dave goes, wait, that's not the first one in. Holy shit. Anyway, as far as Bautista goes, yeah, I think he's pretty much over it as well. I could see Bautista going to do some stuff with DC, and that would be kind of cool. But, yeah, I don't think he's doing any Marvel anymore. 23 Liv said, I was undecided whether or not to see Asterix or D&D, but told a friend that a trusted person had recommended D&D. I trusted you. Never again. Guardians of the Galaxy was a great standalone movie. Love you, Josh. Nerd Adventures for life. What? Dude, D&D is a great movie. You guys are crazy, man. You guys are crazy. The D&D movie's fan-freaking-tastic, and it's a travesty. It's an absolute travesty that movie didn't make more money. Holy shit. Okay, Grand Admiral Kendall says, loved Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Do have to agree with your takes of the meaty James Gunn stuff. Was a little weird, but overall top-tier MCU. Yeah, man, it's just not for me. You know, some people probably like it and think it's hilarious or whatever. I'm just not about it. So, you know, despite that, yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I would love to see a more serious tonal thing with the Guardians. You know what I mean? Like, dude, if you read, like, man, what was it's like the War of Kings, I think, was this like incredible, like big crossover event that the Guardians had. The Annihilation Wave there's a lot of great, really serious Guardian stuff, right? So I just kind of like yearn for that kind of stuff a little bit more. Life Bricks says, first MCU movie I didn't catch opening weekend since Civil War. Between hating Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and the state of the MCU, I'll wait a bit. Have heard good things, though. Yeah, that's interesting, man. I heard a lot of people talking about how they think now people are going to wait for Disney+. How many of you guys agree with that? What do you think? You think a lot of people are just waiting for Disney+ on this movie? I've seen people say that, and it seems like a lot of people are saying, oh, well, that's just now the way, and that's just Disney+. That's what it is. But to me, like, it's kind of on the movie, because there's nothing in this film that you need to rush out to see to make sense of, like, the overall fabric of the MCU. It is really isolated and doesn't push the narrative for the Marvel Cinematic Universe forward at all. That's probably fine. But, like, to me, that's more of why people are waiting for Disney+. It doesn't have to do with the fact that, like, well, Disney+ exists, so therefore we just wait now. Like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Why did Multiverse of Madness make damn near 100 more million domestic? Disney+ existed then. Arguably, there was more fear of going outside. So I don't believe that narrative. I think Marvel has to take like a hard look. They have to try to like think about what are they actually trying to do, right? Because this is a really good movie that just might not be the film for this time in the overall fabric of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm completely open to that being the reality. I don't know what we do with that, but to me, that's more why folks are willing to wait for Disney+. Does that make sense? Matei says, hey, my first stream in a while. Been busy. Saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3 twice, though. 9 out of 10. Jimmy the Gun, my comic book movie director, GOAT. Can't wait for Legacy. Much love, Josh. Take my money. Hey, I appreciate it. And I am glad that you liked the film, man. I'm glad that you liked the film. Mike Waxler says, saw Guardians and loved it. Cried like a baby. Also, I'll be getting married this Saturday, the 14th. All my Nerd Vengers fam are invited in spirit. Okay. Do we get to eat the cake in spirit and shit? Come on, man. What is this? I don't get it. But also, congratulations, man. Kando says, I really like the movie because I'm so connected to the characters and it delivered a great ending. But bruh, I'm over gun movies. Parts felt like Peacemaker. The jump points, Easter egg for the Marvels. Yeah, no, I agree. Man, I have some thoughts. Yeah, like obviously I agree with you on that. I'm kind of like over the James Gunn situation, but obviously other people, as we've just went through some chats, really, really like it, right? So the new Marvels trailer, which played in front of the film, I gotta say, much better trailer. I also have some theories on that trailer that I'm not quite ready to share yet because they're pretty controversial, and I want to wait to see how this all plays out. But let me just say this. I am really interested in how Marvel chooses to market the Marvels from this point on. Just let that one percolate. We'll come back to that. Trev says, Church of Truth, alternate timeline variant of Adam the Magus, fits right into the multiverse stuff, in my opinion. Maybe even the goddess from Infinity Crusade. Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is on the table. It's just the fact that they weren't interested in doing that. I respect the decision. I know he wants to just close up these characters' chapters, but it's also the reality of the situation that most fans are ready to expand the Marvel story, not just the story of the Guardians. So again, it's a really interesting time. Like, I love covering this stuff. Make no mistake, we are in such a weird, interesting time. It's gonna be really fascinating to see how it does in the weekend too. Jane says, what if Rhodes actually died during the fall in Civil War and the scroll is just using the walking device as a cover? Well, first of all, that's a rumor that we're not really sure about. The fact that James Rhodes might be a Skrull, right? So we're not 100% sure on that, but that could be the case. I'm really curious as to how the fans are going to react to that. If that ends up being true, holy. Lennox says, hey, Nerd Vision for 4 months. Let's go. I'll be watching Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on my Fire Stick soon, but the superhero fatigue, I think it's just the bad writing. Maybe. I think this movie had pretty strong writing, to be honest. But a lot of the stuff maybe, like, dude, I gotta be honest. I think it's a lot of Disney Plus, man. I think it's a lot of Disney Plus. I think it really hurt the brand. It was like a great idea that was executed so horribly. Tubular Tommy says, Star-Lord left helmet in Target clearance section. Yeah, he kind of did. I do like that helmet, too. You know what I mean? I do like that helmet, but, you know, just because it kind of popped in my head, I thought the way they did Adam Warlock's powers, incredible. Not super crazy with how they did the character, with like him being like, you know, an idiot. But his power set, that shit slapped. I was like, damn, that's cool. I hope that Sentry looks just as good, man. Can you guys fucking imagine what the Sentry could look like if that's what they did with Adam Warlock? Whew. Okay, Miss Spiro says, so if comic book movie fatigue actually kicks in this year like you say, will the MCU even make it to Secret Wars, or could it all potentially go away? Oh, dude, it is so far away from going away. Consider that Warner Brothers is literally putting out superhero movies that are just losing money one after another, and they're not blinking. Bro, it would take so much for the Marvel Cinematic Universe to go away, right? That's not even a worry. My worry is that it's going to just keep going like this and be mid as fuck. That's worse, by the way. Worse. But that's the real fear. That's the actual thing that could happen. So, look, I don't think that's going to happen. However, it may well be on the 2024 projects to really show us how are the changes behind the scenes actually coming into play. Do you know what I'm saying? RG2088 says, none of these movies have really connected together well or been about the multiverse in the multiverse saga. We're still waiting for the pieces to all connect. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was a good standalone. I agree with you. There's nothing in your statement that I think is incorrect or that I take issue with. Maha says, you think Bautista and Zoe... Oh, I already went over that. Marvelous Menace says, Josh, we all know you loved Quantum Mania MODOK. Oh my God. Let me just say this. A lot of people are talking about the body horror in Guardians 3. To me, there's nothing in Guardians that's anywhere near as horrifying as MODOK. Just MODOK's face was more horrifying to my spirit than anything that Gunn put in this other movie. That's facts. Dr. Cool says, just realized I got my gold badge. Nerd Avengers, 2 years, baby. Hey, I really appreciate that. By the way, I'm going to throw something wild at you guys. In a little bit here, when I get past all these chats, I'm going to do a $200 GameStop gift card for the members. For you members, I'm going to draw. And we're going to do it differently this time so that somebody here will win. Guaranteed, okay? Diamond Joe says Guardians was freaking amazing. 9.5 out of 10 for me. I feel you on how it was super packed, and some scenes should have been fleshed out more. Cheers. Cheers. Right back at you, brother. Glad you liked it, man. Chippawee says, should Marvel Comics do a rebirth like DC's New 52? I kind of think Marvel Comics is actually in a pretty decent place right now. They've got a lot of cool events coming out, and I think a lot of people are genuinely like enjoying stuff that's going on. So, yeah. Purple Funk says, hey, Josh and Nerd Ventures, do you think the writer's strike could/will have an effect on any Marvel SDCC announcements? Last year, SDCC was legendary. Yeah, like I said, I don't think it will affect the announcements. I think the announcements are going to be huge. I'm also not sure if Marvel or Star Wars or DC is going to stop anything because of the writer's strike. You know? So we'll just see, man. It is interesting. The Real Super Shadow says, Shamook, 3 other VFX left ILM for Metaphysic. More evidence, no more Luke. Wait, what? Okay, I'm going to have to look into that. I'm going to have to look into that. Okay, I'll look into that. That would be pretty shocking news. Matthew says, naive to the situation, why are studios required to use the unions? Is moving to privatized writing an option? Look, I don't fully understand it myself. I just know that like they're all unionized. So every writer that works in Hollywood has to be a WGA member. Like I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So no, I don't think you have that option, but it like I mean, we'll just see how it shakes out, man. Like hopefully it just gets finished soon. You know what I mean? And then we don't have to worry about it as much. But, yeah, it seems like they're just going to move full steam ahead, right? Victor says, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 over Multiverse of Madness. Well, that's your opinion, and I respect your opinion, but also it's a stupid opinion, and I hate it. Patrick says with a 10 spot, I haven't seen an MCU movie in theater, period, since MOM, and didn't want to miss GOG 3 because I thought there might be some big stakes or spoilers. There were none. Better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2, barely. MCU rank, 34 out of 42. Damn! Yeah, I don't know where I'd rank it. I mean, it's not in my top 10 for sure. Again, it's good though. It feels like a return in a lot of ways because of the quality, but it's also like kind of like whatever, you know? So again, we'll just see. This second week is going to be really telling, man. Larold says, haven't joined in a while, got super into Critical Role. Trying to catch up from Campaign 1. Oh my God, that's a lot. That's a lot of streams, dude. Good luck on that. I also enjoy Critical Role. Darian says, Transformers is about to end Marvel and Star Wars. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. 34 Virgo says, Guardians of the Galaxy was 7.8 for me. It was a little less jokes in a good way, but I thought some of the serious moments should have paid off more. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I felt like the movie was doing this thing where like a lot of, like, it was just, I was sort of, like it was losing me a little bit. It lost me a lot, but then it would re-engage me with some of the like really sad, serious shit. So I kept feeling this thing where when I was watching it, where I was like, I don't know. Oh shit, this is serious. And then I'm like back. And then I'm like, I don't know about that. And then I'm back. You know what I mean? And so maybe that's good. Maybe that's bad. I don't really know. But yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that. Dirt Wizard says, I just think the writing and connectivity needs to be better than it has been, and superhero movies will be just fine. Great stream as usual. Well, thank you, Dirt Wizard. I appreciate the love. And yeah, I think so too, man. I think there are a lot of ways forward. Look, this is similar in some ways to what happened at the beginning of Phase 2. Marvel was not doing it right, and they adjusted. And then we had an incredible back half of Phase 2, Phase 3, and we had, of course, Infinity War, an Endgame. So I still think we're looking at that kind of a scenario, but we might be in that phase of them turning it around. It's pretty interesting. Patrick says, when are we getting the first Rebel Moon trailer? That's a great question. I don't know. I mean, you would assume soon, but like 6 months out, so maybe like the middle of summer would be, I think, par for the course. So yeah, probably in the middle of summer. Maybe they'll have some stuff at San Diego Comic-Con. That would be kind of sick, huh? Drew Smith says, saw it opening night and took my nephew yesterday. We all loved it. I then forced them to listen to the Beastie Boys the entire ride home. Nice, man. That's pretty cool. I'm glad you guys liked it. Star Force 1 says, Shamook confirmed gone from ILM. I wonder what this means. I can DM announcement if you want. Yeah, please do, actually. Please do DM me the announcement. That is not good. That might be another video. We'll have to see. Interesting. Very interesting. All right, guys, let's hang out in the chat. What's going on? What are you guys thinking? I'll hang out for a little bit more, and then we'll get on out of here. Took a tincture, liquid dab, before the movie, and it sent me to the moon. I was cracking up the whole time as well as crying. Nerd Adventures for life. May the force be with you. Damn, Shibby. Oh, yeah, the giveaway. Good call. Good call, my man. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the chat into members only. Boom. Okay, now you might be asking yourself, why'd you do that? Well, because reasons. Now let me get this set up here. Okay. So we're going to do this as a giveaway. And this should work. This should work. We'll go $200 GameStop gift card. Okay, let's check out the advance here. Max tickets. We'll go 30. Okay, so check this out. Okay, everybody, are you ready? Are you ready? It's going to work like the tickets that we usually set up. And you can buy a ticket for 2,000 nerd coin. And I think because it's only members, now only members will be able to do the giveaway, yes? Wait, is it not working? Why is nobody buying a ticket? Is it not working? Chat! Chat, is it working? Okay, here we go. Some people are coming in. Okay, cool. You only have about a minute. Okay, looks like it's working. Okay, sick. Sick. Okay, so that way we get one of the Nerd Avengers to get this $200 GameStop gift card. Yeah. Yeah. And if Elisa wins, I don't want to hear no rigged, shady, sus. I don't hear none of that. I don't want to hear none of it. I hope Elisa wins. Me too. Maybe she'll buy me something. Maybe she'll buy me something, you know? Okay, 15 seconds, guys. You got 15 seconds, chat. I'm glad this worked, man. I was like, wait, what? Why is this not working? That would be real dumb if it didn't work. That'd be real dumb. Okay. Are you ready, chat? Let's see who won the $200 GameStop gift card. Let's see. Eli Thomas. Congratulations, Eli. Hit me up, man. Give me a DM. Send me a DM. And I'll get you the codes. All the pertinence. All the info. All the stuff you need. Jesse, welcome to the Nerd Avengers. You are a Nerd Avenger now. Don't worry, we do a lot of giveaways for the members and whatnot. So, how many tickets did he buy? I don't know. Should I look at it? Do you really want to know, Kendall? Should I look at it? Are you sure you want to know? Let me see here. Oh, I see it. You should we say it? According to my records, He bought 13 tickets. Oh, he said 13 already? Yeah. So he did 13. That's pretty good. You know? So, all right, I'll put it back into subscriber mode. I don't know how to buy tickets. Well, let me check and see if you had any greet pack. No. Yeah, somebody's gonna have to talk you through it, but don't worry. We do a $200 GameStop gift card every month for the members, and we do a bunch of other giveaways too. So you'll have another chance soon. Don't worry, my friend. It wasn't fair to all nerd ventures. Just saying. Well, life's not fair, my friend. And a giveaway is a giveaway. Hell yeah. Nice to see you all again. Indeed. One ticket limit per person is the best way to do it. I don't know if I agree with that. We could talk about it, though. I'll tell you what. This is what we'll do. Tomorrow, we'll go live with the members at 11 a.m. And if you have a complaint, you can put it in the complaint box. And live on stream, I'll take the complaint box and I'll throw it behind my back. No, just kidding. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Am I a member then? No. No. We're about to be Karen Ventures. Yeah, I bet, dude. Maybe the members should strike. Oh, Jesus. Here we go. Another strike. Strikes everywhere. I'm going to see Guardians at 3:30 in 4D, and I hope it's good. Yeah, I think you'll have a good time, man. I think it's pretty good. You could do what Shibby does and have no idea what was actually in the movie. I mean, damn, Shibby. Like, I know you probably had a good time, but if I give you a little quiz on the film, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I don't think you're scoring high. You know what I mean? I don't think you're scoring high. Because that is... that's pretty wild. Did I like Guardians, Josh? I haven't watched your video and just joined the live. I did like it. I didn't love it. A lot of people really, really loved it, and I think that's great. I just liked it. There's a lot of stuff that I just like, whatever. But overall, very good. Read my super. Okay, DJ says, saw your buddy's film, Guardians 3. Solid movie. I often forget Bradley Cooper voices Rocket. He's great. High evolutionary, greater than Kang. Movie needed a Josh cameo. Hey, I wouldn't have minded a Josh cameo. Yeah, High Evolutionary was really good. I've seen a lot of people saying that they should just make the High Evolutionary a Kang variant and then just, like, make him Kang or whatever. And, like, honestly, that dude is good. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, that dude was really, really good. But, like, just let him be the High Evolutionary. You know what I mean? Like, that was great. High Evolutionary. Cool. I'm sure they could find somebody for Kang. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about all that. Hey, it just felt like riding. Welcome back, brother. Always good to see you in the tower. Okay, so tomorrow, 11 a.m., Nerd Venture members. We're doing a member stream. We'll talk about the new giveaways, and Trev can come up and give a PowerPoint as to why he thinks it's unfair. We could just talk about fun things that we want to do together for the members, because I have a few ideas about what I want to do over the summer. So come on by for that. Other than that, guys, I'm going to work on a video. Should be a big video out tomorrow about the changing plan for Marvel's Secret Wars and a lot of the crazy stuff I've heard. So I'm going to put that all in a video. Should be a nerd theory tonight. No stream on Friday. A really long stream on Wednesday, though. Hey, do me a favor. If there's a cool, nerdy video that you want me to react to, come Wednesday and just tell me what videos. Like... I really want to spend a long time streaming on Wednesday to kind of make up for Friday. So I want to watch some videos. I want to, maybe do some tier list stuff, just have a really nice stream on Wednesday. And then I think we should be back to regular next week. Okay. Yeah, no, not RedTube, mother trucker. It's a family show, Patrick, as you well know. Okay. Much love to you all. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you in the next video. Is everybody gone? Did everybody leave? Ah, yes. Another happy landing. Another good Monday stream. Getting the rust off, getting back into it, you know. Hope you had as good a time as I. Except Trev. Everybody else, I hope you had a ball. Much love to you. Open up that third eye. Wash out your stinky butt. I'll see you in the next one.